Hi guys, my name is Amy and I chose to do Good Bones by Maggie Smith. I kind of wrote all my notes down on my paper here, so I'm going to be reading it as I tell you about my analysis of it. I chose it because it kind of resonated with me as a mom who is constantly feeling like I have to protect my children from this world and shelter them in such a way that they don't see all the awful things that are happening on the news, and that they aren't constantly aware and scared and worried about the things that are going on in the world. When I first read the title Good Bones, I thought this poem was going to be about a house or about a person. It wasn't until after I read through the poem that I felt I kind of understood the title a little bit better. Good bones, we hear realtors mention. This house has good bones, talking about the structure, the thing that's holding it together, which is like the mom or a parent speaking in the poem. As a mom, I try to make sure that I am the structure of our family and the good bones in our house, and to make sure that I'm holding our lives together and making sure that my kids are being as well taken care of as I possibly could manage, and kind of like being the structure, the good bones of a house. I feel like as a parent, we try to do that also. Right away, we know our speaker is talking about her children. From the first line, life is short, though I keep this from my children. Right from the start, it feels like she is protecting them from something. She's trying to not let them know that life is short, not let them know of the goings on in the world. She then speaks herself with life is short, and she has shortened hers. So right away, initially I thought, okay, suicide, which thankfully it wasn't. In the third and fourth line, she says, in 1,000 delicious, ill-advised ways. And so I think she's referring to things in everyday lives, like sweets or alcohol or unhealthy food, or those, non-exercising, just living a lifestyle that maybe isn't the healthiest. Cigarettes, all of these things that come into our everyday lives that shorten our lives, whether we intend to or not intend to. Again, in line 5, she mentions, I'll keep from my children. So again, we see she's probably protecting them from something, which up to now sounds like maybe she's dying, maybe she has come down with cancer, so her life would be shortened had it been something in that nature that we just aren't aware of yet at this point. But whatever it is, she's not ready for her children to hear about it. So she's keeping it from them. She's trying to protect them from something that could harm them. However, then she begins with many other things she is keeping from her children. She mentions the world being 50% terrible, and that it could probably be more than 50% terrible, but that was just her estimate. And the speaker then moves on with more examples as to why the world is terrible. The example that really kind of sat with me and made me take a pause and really think about it was when she said, for every loved child, a child broken, bagged, sunk in a lake. It's kind of a sad reality of what the world we live in is, and that kids are growing up in it. This world that there's so much awful things and so many terrible things, and she's trying to protect them from those things. For every kind stranger, there is one who would break you. Again, with the good, there seems to always be a bad. Towards the end, she says, I am trying to sell them, not her children. She's trying to sell a life to her children, or the world. She's trying to sell them the world. And so them is her children. She's trying to put into perspective for them and help them realize that even though our world is filled with so much bad, there's some good in it too. So at the end, she, in a sense, is comparing herself to a realtor, or maybe she is a realtor selling this world to her children. She says, only decent realtor walking you through a real shithole, so the bad things of this world, still chirps on about the good bones. So a realtor knows the structure of a house and knows the goods and the bads about it, but they don't tell us the bads. They want to sell the house. They want us to buy it. And so in doing so, they just tell us all the good and wonderful things, and they constantly are chirping on about the good stuff and not any of the bad stuff, kind of like what it seems this speaker is doing for her children. She's trying to tell them about the good things in the world and inform them of the good stuff and kind of protect them from the bad stuff. So at the very end, it says this place could be beautiful, right? She's asking a question, like she's unsure if this place could really be beautiful. Could this world that we live in, could it be beautiful? And she says, you could make this place beautiful. So I think she's talking to her children there. So she's asking herself, could it be? Could this place that we live in, with all of the horribleness and the awfulness that goes on in this world, could it be a beautiful place? And then I kind of feel like maybe she's looking at her children when she writes the last line, and she says, you could make this place beautiful. Because it's really up to our children. It's up to them to kind of change the world at this point and take a bad and turn it into a positive. Thanks.